For me, some of the biggest challenges I've faced in this industry is protecting my creative spirit, my desire to want to make things, and my ability to make things. We've worked on too many projects that never see the light of day or get creative noted into oblivion. So choose projects that will always make sure that you're excited to choose the next project, and means that you won't have to take 3 months off to recover from that nightmare client or that nightmare shooting experience. My absolute favorite projects of all time, it's any time I get to explore my own country and just feel like immensely proud and covetous of these spaces that I get to move through. Particularly way back when in my career, maybe I've peaked, we did a series for South African tourism called SAT 4 Cities, and every day we arrived in a space that was a space I wanted to return to share with my younger siblings, to show my family, and all of these spaces and sites were in my own country. My entire career has been testament to the fact that this industry will always have space for newcomers. Not because there was a gap in the existing industry, but because when we came up, we made a new section of the industry. I think the X factor in our work is that we had this interdisciplinary upbringing when it came to storytelling. We not only used traditional cameras, but we used gimbals, drones, skateboards, poles, underwater gear when we were making content for other people. The scale at which we shoot adverts, the places in which you're able to drop us, and the breadth of content we're able to create only comes as a result of the technology we use and the way we know how to use it. It's interesting, we also shoot in a lot of spaces where we're with other creators, right? I see a lot of directors who are far more experienced in narrative telling, but didn't come up in a time when drones were a thing. And they don't necessarily know how to integrate that into their creative narratives. And I think the thing I'm very lucky with is when I think creatively, when I think about telling a story, it's in the shape of gimbal images, drone images, and traditional images, and I know how to make it all work together. I know in 5 years' time, given how much this technology is advancing, there are going to be new me's coming at my heels, able to shoot things that I never dreamed of, in the same way that the industry that came before me was unable to make in the way that I can. When you have this conversation of talent versus hard work, I think that I've got a bit of a cheeky answer there. I think I'm definitely more talented than I am hardworking. But that said, I've always been incredibly lucky to balance that out with a support network of hard workers. So know yourself and know the balance. Maybe you are that person who's always willing to get down in the mud and struggle through it. Then find someone who's talented on the other behalf, right? Have a team that balances you out, because you're never just by yourself. The best marketing move we ever made was having an innate desire of making things ourselves. So outside the commercial sphere, you need to be excited and eager to make projects that look like the projects you want in 5 years' time. Once those projects are a thing and they're in the world, those projects will go so much further than a sponsored Facebook post or an Instagram story, because they will be content that you're excited to see and your future clients are excited to view themselves. We found the biggest challenge getting new clients is doing the work that those clients want. I've got a saying that in this industry, you only do what you've already done, right? You only get hired to make what you've already made. And that's why we put a lot of effort into pushing ourselves outside of the commercial space to do the projects personally that we want to get hired for in the future. If I had advice for my younger self, it would be to be incredibly thankful that you have a support network that outweighs your own personal failings, and to keep those people close. I've always been lucky enough to have people that believed in me more than I believed in myself, that pushed me more than I was disciplined myself. So foster those networks, keep them close, and value the people that push you in a direction that you want to see yourself in.